Hello and welcome to the Ask Weldon Show, episode 94. Today it is raining outside. I can hear the rain dribbling on the roof and I feel very nice and relaxed. So today's going to be a nice, calm, collected kind of show. I remember when I used to live in Chile in the Atacama Desert, which is a really, really dry desert. NASA tests their Mars Land rover there. That's how dry it is. They think it's like similar to the surface of Mars, level dry. It doesn't rain very often. That's the point. I would literally go into World of Warcraft with Crystal, my wife, and we would go to places like Westfall or somewhere where it was raining just to hear the rain falling and to like play around in puddles. Yeah, we got pretty desperate during that time. It didn't rain while we were there. We were there for 10 months. It didn't rain. I heard later that it rained. The whole city flooded because they don't have any drains because they didn't build any. Not really an oversight either, since it doesn't rain except once every 3 years. Okay, from GamerMan4, and he asks, I'm assuming man. That's the name. The fourth one. When I think of goals, anything besides CS doesn't seem measurable. What are some other SMART goals? How can I measure them? Okay, so a SMART goal, for those of you who don't know the acronym, is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and has a time frame. And they're the kind of like pushed at, it's the kind of pushed at mechanism for understanding how you should kind of construct goals to start with in order to make them effective for you. Now, I've since moved on from SMART goals to preferring like Kickstarter goals, the kind that like target the very first action in a chain of events, the very first hurdle that you face, that you suck at. Let's say if you're really, really bad at like doing a specific thing, and that's the thing that's holding you back, that's your goal, and then from there you kind of move on. So, but what you're talking about are measurables, not necessarily goals, but ways of measuring your progress as you get better. So, a lot of the other ways in League of Legends besides CS to measure progress are qualitative. That means they are not spit out at you by the stats of the game, because Riot Games cannot provide those kind of stats. And that's actually a problem for professional coaches as well. We were trying to figure out different ways of measuring like progress in a play, whether it's a good play or bad play, if we did better on the play. And what we need to do is bookmark 2 periods of the game and see the experiential differential on each position of the team during that bookmark and then during a phase after that kind of play. Those aren't metrics that you can get very easily from the game. So if your measures of improvement are qualitative, meaning that they're kind of subjective to your human understanding, the best thing you can do is look through a VOD of your game. That means that you try to decide on things to train, such as making better roams, making better macro decisions, making better trades in lane on your CS, making better trades in lane on the opponent's CS, making better group calls, making grouping more with your team. These kinds of things. One of the only ways to kind of pull that data out of the game is to actually watch your VOD and judge yourself. Okay, and now doing this will provide you lots more benefits than actually measuring the goals. A lot of times I really push these things because I want people to watch themselves play. I don't really care what they get out of it. I don't care if like you're watching your play and you're going to like see how many times you roamed and you're going to compare it to other times and you come up with this elaborate spreadsheet system to write everything down and track it. I don't even really care about the data, because the most important part of this equation for the learning process is that you're analyzing your play. And I got into this argument actually with some of my players once, where they were like, what is the point of this activity if we don't then go present this data to a team or like use it in some way? That what is the point of like acquiring, of like doing the research, reading this book, watching this VOD, if we don't then do something with the work that we did? And that's a very kind of American school system way of looking at it. Like, what's the point of doing this book report if I don't get to report it and get a grade on it? The point of doing the book report is that you did the book report and now you read the book. Congratulations. The book report doesn't matter now, because the intent of the book report was to get you to read the book in the first place and learn something. And I don't have this problem with my Finnish students, by the way, because they understand that the point of the work is the work. And they aren't really all hung up on the reporting aspect of it. Some of them are, okay, because like it's a young person thing. You can't really get out of it. If you're in school, and that's kind of the mindset that's pushed. But you're not in school when you're studying League of Legends. You were studying League of Legends, you're trying to get better, you're trying to improve. And so the intent of you, when you watch your VODs and you analyze your play, and you're trying to like judge yourself, did I do better with roams this game or not? And you go back and you compare it, and you're like collecting notes where you write down a notepad, you're like, okay, in this one, and you describe what you did, and then in this roam you say, okay, I scrimmed it this time, this is the good part, this is the problem, those notes exist, and then you think, okay, I have a product now. now I can like look at this product and see if I got better. No, it doesn't matter with the notes that you produced. The fact that you produced them means that the learning is going on here. The reflection, the reflectivity, the observation of your play, it's causing you to pay attention to things. So the next time you go into the game, you're going to be thinking, cogitating on, you're going to be wiring up the connections from the last pattern that you studied. That is really the important part, is what's going on in here. So I want you to switch to qualitative measures of your game. Set goals like the ones that I talked about. You can even make champion specific ones. Like I want to dodge every single Z alt that I cast. I want to dodge a skill shot. Every single Syndra E that I cast, I want to hit something. EQ combo, of course. I don't just mean the E. I want to interrupt Katarina's ult every single time this game. So the SMART goals that I design oftentimes have to do with how it is that your comp interacts with their comp, how it is that your ultimate spell interacts with, in an optimal situation, in a skirmish, with the other ultimates in the fight, because these are the things that are going to be like turning points. And then the other ones involve map movement. Like I'm going to attempt to farm the race every single time that I have a roaming timer on my lane, which means that you're able to clear the CS first, and then while they're clearing the CS, you can safely clear the race without being harassed. Okay? Although you should be using those roam timers for vision, so you could even say, every single time I have a roam timer in mid, I will, instead of trying to harass them on their CS, I will acquire vision on one side, or deny vision by looking for pings and things like that. So come up with these kind of goals that you kind of pull out of professional players' play, and you're like, I want to be able to do that, and I don't think about it enough. And then analyze your VOD. Set aside 15 minutes after the game, fast forward through it, just look at everything you do, and judge yourself qualitatively. This quantitative measure is less important than the fact that you went through and you give yourself a score, maybe a 1 to 5 score or something like that. But the point is that you looked through it, and that you have kind of an idea of how well you did and how well you didn't do. And you can use that, and that kind of like process wires you up for further change. I hope that helps. Good luck. Okay, second question is from Lolrence_lie, and they ask, how do I train to misclick less? I often misclick, and instead of kiting away, I would walk into the enemy's face. Okay, first you need to shift your paradigm. Okay, there's no such thing as a misclick. There's just a click. Okay, and then some of your clicks are relatively better aimed than other your clicks, or you could say some of your clicks are more close to what an ideal pro would do than other of your clicks. Okay, but even your non-misclicks probably aren't optimal. Okay, so your clicks all exist on a spectrum from here, and you want to take them here, and that consistency is a bell curve. Okay, you cannot, it's a bell curve. How can I draw this? On a bell curve, you cannot always click at the top of your bell curve in the perfect position. It's never going to happen. You are the average of your clicks. Okay, so that means you're going to have some really bad ones, you're going to have some really good ones, and the really good ones are not your average level of play. The really good ones are the top of your bell curve, and everything in the middle is you, average, and everything on the bottom end is like, oops, I made a mistake. So if you see yourself misclicking a lot, it could be that actually those are your average, okay? And the really bad ones are the like kind of exceptional ones that really stick out. And the really good ones that you think are your normal level of play are actually just your best lucky clicks. So how do you shift the average? Unfortunately, it has to do with training. So first you have to make every click intentional, and you become aware of all of the bad habits you're training yourself. So understand that every single time you click, you are reinforcing the way that you click. So let's say you try to click better for 5 clicks, and then you just let yourself relax and you do nothing for 278 clicks. So 278 clicks of your brain is training you to click the way that you're clicking, and then those 5 better clicks, you're like, okay, I'm clicking better for 5 clicks, and you forget to do it anymore. So you're never going to kick that habit. You're never going to get better because it's not a habit. It's what you're doing. It's like you're training it to yourself. So you have to amp up your awareness and your focus for an extended period of drill time. Drills are really good for this, by the way. In order to improve that, you need to be precise, and you need to constantly aim for slightly better than you can do. Pick something, aim for better than you can do it, and expect failure half the time. If you're pushing your limit, half the time you're going to be able to pull it off, half the time you're not going to be able to. But the idea is you're moving the needle, okay? So you're going to, like, your bell curve here is shaped kind of like this, I can't really do a bell curve with my fingers. And you're positioned as a vertical line right in the middle, and you're unmoving. Sometimes you're getting worse. I want you to lean that line forward. And what that means is like half the time you're actually going to be clicking incorrectly, and you're going to be missing, and you're going to be trying to click amazingly, and it's going to fail. And half the time you're going to be clicking correctly, but you're going to be leaning forward, so you're going to be constantly improving. And as soon as you take a break and you relax and you don't push yourself anymore, you're going to bounce into the middle of your bell curve, and your bell curve is going to have shifted. You're going to move the needle up. So, move the needle. Next question is from Toonchi Wu, and they ask, what are your thoughts on some athletes using marijuana to enhance performance? I don't believe marijuana enhances performance. I believe it impedes performance. Don't try to use marijuana to enhance your performance. Now, you might have phrased this question, what are your thoughts on some athletes using marijuana to treat a symptom of their life that is medical, such as pain, or tiredness, or inability to relax, or stress relief? And the answer is I don't have an opinion on that. I don't know. I'm not aware of any research that compares marijuana to mindfulness, or marijuana to like mental resilience, gratefulness conditioning, or other forms of stress relief or cortisol control for professional athletes. And because I base pretty much every single one of my suggestions on research. I'm a research-based practitioner. Everything I practice, I try to ground in research. Everything I think, I try to ground in research. Everything I do, I try to ground in research. Because of that, and the fact that there are no clinical studies that I know of on like high performance symptom management of athletes with marijuana, I have no opinion on it. So consult your doctor. They ask, hi, I'm having a struggle studying more than 1 hour straight. How do I find motivation, and how do I not lose it while I'm studying? Good question. The answer is you don't find motivation. Motivation is something that is an emotion. So just like you don't find anger, you don't find sadness, you don't find happiness, it's an emotion. You can try to engineer the environment and your mindset to end up with an emotion, but an emotion is like neurochemical response to your environment. So, or your thoughts. That's part of your environment. So, motivation, I would like you to think of motivation as something that happens to you. And I would like you to think of your actions. So I described this in a video. Okay, first of all, go down below to my description, click subscribe to my list, Weldon's list, and like the second or third email is a entire video about this, like 20 minutes long. It discusses the topic in depth. So I'm not going to go into it completely here. But the basic idea is there are two kinds of motivation. There's a kind of motivation that is in here that you feel, that you're familiar with, that is like, ooh, I really want to do this thing and nothing will keep you from it. Okay? And then there's the other kind of motivation which is described by society. Society sees you doing your homework. They say, he's a motivated guy. Doesn't really matter what you feel like inside. Let's say that you're like, I hate this essay. And like, your teacher looks at you and doing the essay and says, you're a motivated guy. Let's say you're sitting there, I love this essay. Inside, you're feeling that. Your teacher looks at you and says, you're a motivated guy. Let's say that you are playing a video game. You're playing a video game, League of Legends. You're like, I hate this game. I hate playing this. And your teacher looks at you doing that and says, wow, you are a lazy guy. You're playing a video game. Okay? Let's say that you are playing League of Legends and you're super motivated. You're like, I'm going to get this guy. I'm so motivated. I want to get better. You're improving every day. You're Bjergsen level conditioning training every single hour, all the time. And you're analyzing your game and incredibly pulling apart VODs and whatever. Anyway, you're super motivated. Teacher looks at what you're doing and says, wow, he's really lazy. He's playing a video game. Okay, so there's motivation as what motivation is, a psychological construct here in your brain. Actually neurochemical, so it's more biological, psychobiological. And then there is motivation as in what society defines as motivation. Okay? So I think that you're asking, how do I find my motivation? How do I find my energy to keep studying for more than an hour? Because you cannot just go find that chemically induced high that is called motivation. It's not possible. It happens to you. But there are other things that guide actions besides how you feel in a given moment. And those are values, ways that you want to be in the future. So what you do is you look at your homework and you tie it to something that you want. Connect it to something in the future that you desire, that is the way that you want to be. Or you look at yourself and you say, I am the kind of person who what? What kind of person are you? What do you value about people that you respect? What do you value about how people see you? What do you value about yourself? You connect it to these values and these desires. And you wire that up. Okay, you connect them. And you cinch it up and you tie it and you make it really strong. Okay? Now, your actions, the thing that you're doing right now, is connected directly to something that you strongly desire or directly to something that you value about yourself. And then you force yourself to do it in order to achieve those objectives, in order to appear in that way or to be the person that you so wish to be in the world. And that is values-based living. Okay? Acting according to your values instead of according to your emotions. Okay, so you don't want to find your motivation. You want to find your values. And by the way, that's what my Mac program is all about. Mindfulness, Acceptance, Commitment. mindgames.gg/MAC is about becoming a values-driven person instead of an emotionally driven person. And partially that's why I'm making this video right now, because it's late at night. I was watching a YouTube video and I was thinking, oh, I was working all day and watching kids all day, and do I really want to make a video? And then I was like, yes, I want to be the kind of person who tells themselves they're going to make a video every day and then makes a video every day for their fans, answering 6 questions late at night when they're tired, because that's the kind of person I want to be. That's the kind of person I want to see myself as. And that's a value-driven behavior, because my emotions were telling me to turn on Flash, get a bowl of cereal, and then go to bed after that. But here I am not watching Flash. Thanks to my Mindfulness, Acceptance, Commitment program, where I did mindfulness, learned about accepting what it is that you feel, regardless of whether you're motivated or not, and committing yourself to a course of action that is in line with what you want to do with your life. Okay. Next, 5th question is from BBG Revenant. Big Bad Green Revenant, I guess, maybe. And they ask, I have a hard time getting up in the morning unless I have something to do. What's a good way to get up / keep a sleep schedule? Hard time getting up in the morning unless I have something to do. What's a good way to get up and keep a sleep schedule? This is a really bad question for me, because I'm not going to be able to answer it to your specific situation, because I don't know you, and I don't have a system that is research-based, and I don't have an answer for humanity in general, how the mind works. So the best thing that I can do for you is tell you what I do and what I think as an opinion. Okay, so remember the big whiny spiel I gave earlier about how research-based this, research-based that, blah, 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 marijuana? Now I'm going to jump off the research ship and say, like, this is all that I know about hacking your own body anecdotally from my own experiences, and nothing research-based at all. If there's research-based something in here that comes up, I will inform you. Okay, so here's how it goes. I have never had a problem getting up in the morning, I guess. I'm a morning person. I wake up all the time, I get up, and I'm like, boom, it's like 6 a.m., I'm super happy. So I would guess that first is going to bed on time. Now that's something I struggle with, and I've tried coping with it by creating nighttime routines and creating like limiters, like, okay, I have to go to bed when X goes to bed, or I have to go to bed, or like this is the last game, and then whatever, or creating routines. None of them really work that well. I still end up staying up really late, but I still end up getting up early, and I don't know why, because I messed up probably. But how do you get up in the morning? That's something to do. I don't know. Schedule something to do. Go to the gym. That's what I do. Breakfast gets me up sometimes. But mostly I just get up and, like, I want to walk. I want to exercise. I want to move. I want to do something. So I get up and here's something that might work. Podcasting. I really love listening to podcasts. One thing that really excites me when I wake up for work, or when I wake up, like, in the morning, is that I get to eat a quick snack, put on my headphones, and go out for a 15-20 minute walk and listen to something so entertaining and fun, like a podcast. Or I get to like listen to a YouTube video, or I get to listen to something inside. I get to listen to Thorin being an idiot. And no, sorry, Thorin, just kidding. I get to listen to Thorin like asking Monty about what he thinks about some sort of League of Legends strategy or whatnot, and if it's any good or not. And then I get to, kind of enjoy that entertainment, or that side of like my consumption of media, because I don't really consume, that's a lie. I actually consume media a lot nowadays. When I'm working, I don't really consume media all that much. I usually just consume it like in transit. I consume it in the morning, I consume it when I'm walking somewhere, I consume it when I'm commuting. Otherwise, I try to keep focused on producing media content. But anyway, if you allow yourself something, like a greedy pleasure, like eating a delicious breakfast, or that you don't allow yourself to break the rules later in the day, or allowing yourself to like watch a movie or video or something, do something like in the morning. Maybe that can help bribe you out of bed. Good luck, dude. Sorry you're not a morning person. I guess some of us were just genetically talented. That was the slowest wink of all time. Mishakit, they ask. This could be a girl, Misha. So I'm not going to genderize them. What other sport reminds you most of League of Legends? Example, baseball, football, soccer, etc. Thank you for giving me good examples of sports. What sport reminds me most of League of Legends? Hockey. Hockey does. It's 5 versus 5. There's a penalty box where you go, and then it's a 5 versus 4 for some time. Everybody's on offense, everybody's on defense. So you all play like you play multiple roles. It's kind of like basketball in that way. It's not like soccer where there are defenders and there are offensive linemen, offensive players, strikers. I'll just call them strikers. What else did I think about hockey? It's not like hockey in that play setup is rather slow. I mean, execution, like hockey is execution. In League of Legends, it's kind of like, I guess there's constant trading in hockey. So you're constantly kind of like fighting for position on the ice, even if you don't have the puck. I think that's true in most sports, though. So, yeah, so I think hockey, because the penalty box and the 5v5. And, yeah, seems like a good match for me. Alright, that's it. 6 questions. The last few were pretty short. Some of them were pretty short, but some of them were really long. So hopefully that kind of compensates to make it an awesome show. And I will see you guys next time. Please remember, this show is sponsored by me. I don't have any title sponsors. I'm not filling your ear with like other products that are paying me to tell them that their product is great. I have 3 things that I advertise in this show because I have about space for that. One of them is my program, which I am getting a lot of really rave reviews on recently. The mindgames.gg/MAC Mindfulness Acceptance Commitment Program /MAC. That's the web URL. You can find it down below. And it's essentially mindfulness, acceptance, commitment. It's a program that I've used with teams that I've worked with. It's a program I've used on myself. It's a program I adapted from sport into esport. And recently added some worksheets to it to kind of get it back up to par with where it was in the last version. When it lost the worksheets, although I've added a lot of other stuff besides the worksheets. The worksheets were some of the minor things I lost when I added the major revision for version 3, but now 3.02, I would say, because it just got a visual revision from my cool new editor, Sean Burtis, who you can find probably if you search Sean Burtis and something about web development in Google. Maybe I can start linking to him down below too, but I gotta find a credit section for that. And the second thing I want to talk about is my list, Weldon's list. You don't have to buy anything, you don't have to look at anything, but you should get on my list, which is my thing that I send out every single week. It's an email. It's free. It's my best of. It's my best of my own blog, my best of my videos, the best of the tools that I use, the best of the stuff I find around the web every week, the best of everything that I kind of want to summarize from you from my week so that you don't have to go looking for this stuff, so that you can have it based on a recommendation from me. And then finally, the 5-minute journal, which is a product that I think, for me, has had the most bang for my buck than anything in my life. And I love stuff that is simple and sweet. I love stuff you can spend 5 minutes on, and it makes the impact of some billion-dollar investment in some sort of training course. Like I could spend thousands of dollars going to masterminds, going to self-development gurus, doing all sorts of crazy stuff, and I might end up improving my life as much as this 5-minute journal has done to me. For like, I think I bought the hard copy one eventually, but for the first 6 months, I just took the questions from their website and wrote them down in a Google Drive document. And it changed and transformed my level of productivity from fundamentally procrastinator and can't do anything to fundamentally able to achieve what I want to in a given day after 28 years of trying to figure that out on my own. So I really love what they've done here and the simplicity of the science behind it, where gratefulness conditioning, which is something that I looked into after the 5-minute journal and found has a huge bed of research supporting it. It's used by the military as their like core resilience training product, or a psychological training tool that they use in their what is it called? Resilience Command Center, something, some sort of Army acronym for where it is that they train their soldiers. And then it has the kind of goal setting thing, which helped me transform my idea from SMART goals into kind of success trigger goals, the kinds that get you started on your day, or on your activity, get you over that very first hurdle of tough things using values that you then set. You set affirmations or values about who you are and what kind of person you are that would then fulfill those goals. And made a big impact on me, so check it out. It is an affiliate link. It is not a sponsorship. They're not paying me to say this. I'm saying it because I love it, and because if you use my link, then I get a commission on that sale. You don't have to use my link. You can just go to their website and you can check it out, and you don't have to buy anything, or you can just go to their website, search them in Google, 5-minute journal, and buy it, and I get nothing from it. It's not a sponsorship. It's a, what is the thing that I call, yeah, performance-based pay. Performance-based pay. I love performance-based pay for coaches. I think it is the way to go, because coaches should be on the handle for the team's performance. It is your responsibility, coaches, for the team's performance. The players are responsible for doing the things that you ask and for improving as players and for their improvement goals that you set for them. So if you set the wrong things and you ask them to do the wrong things, then the team is going to crumble apart and the performance is going to suffer, and you're not going to be good enough as a coach to make them into a world championship team. So it is the coach who's on the handle for performance. And just like that, I prefer anything that I would do sponsorship related to be performance based. So I don't want somebody to pay me tens of thousands of dollars to say that their product is great. I prefer to find great products and then say, this is a good product, and if you believe me and you trust me, then I will reap a slight reward for it. And then I'll go out and buy a jar of ice cream and get slightly fatter and less healthy. So thank you for that, Chris's, and see you later.